The only way that you're going to get good at boxing is if you go to the boxing gym. I know a lot of you guys really put all of your eggs in the basket of doing mid training, lifting weights, doing burpees, CrossFit, all of that shit. But the only way that you will get good at boxing is to be in the gym. And that's what you witnessed over the weekend. Today, we're going to get into the Mike Tyson, but we're going to get into it in an entirely different way than you've heard everybody discuss it today and over the past 30 hours, because there's consistently one thing missing when all of you are weighing in trying to figure out how did someone who looked the way he looked in his training come out and perform the way he did, which the reality is, dealing with what he was physically dealing with, he did a pretty good job, because all of these other guys that Jake has gotten in the ring with and had the reach advantage and size advantage over, he knocked out. But when it came down to Mike Tyson, he hardly even touched him all night. But here's the thing, that is literally muscle memory. And when you come on the feed, make sure you check in and let me know where you're watching from so I can get in your ass and where you live, because this is boxing and you're about to get a boxing lesson. And when you're talking about over the course of this entire production, you can go back and you can count on one hand how many times you saw Tyson actually box. And a lot of you are baffled when I say that, because when you see a pair of mitts, you think that's boxing. When you see a body vest, you think that's boxing. But that's just the drill. Not one clip in that entire season of promoting this fight did you see Mike Tyson box. You see, because you don't understand what boxing is. You don't understand what boxing is. So this is where you got to test your own IQ. If you are working with someone to take them to the world championship level, okay? The reason why I understand that that's what most people are missing is because it was obvious what he wasn't doing the entire time in camp. And then at the very end of camp, the first thing you heard him say on the last two episodes, he got frustrated, sat by the ring and said, I need to be boxing, because he's been with a coach that understands how to box. Boxing isn't about bringing what we call program mediums into place. You see, when you see him doing all that rows, all of those rows and all of that squatting and even bench pressing, see, that's not boxing. That's not training for boxing. Okay, that's training for a look. The look that he couldn't acquire prior to camp because his lifestyle wasn't leading to, I'm going to be in the biggest fight in this era, crossing over boxing into entertainment. That's what you saw, right? So what I'm going to do is really make it clear. All you got to see is Tyson doing program mediums. Program mediums aren't the things that make you a better boxer. They are the things that may make you faster. They may make you stronger, but they aren't boxing. And everything that you watch Mike Tyson do was to make him stronger or faster. But he didn't need more speed. He definitely didn't need to be stronger than a guy who's coming up from 200 pounds to 230, because he's already been there his entire life. Since he was 12 years old, he's been 190 pounds. So I want you to get your pen and pads out, because you're going to walk yourself back through the decision that you made to choose Tyson. There's no fighter in the world that cannot be boxing and then get in the ring with someone who's boxing. And then you start taking away the age disadvantage. He's more years older than Jake is, than how old Jake is. He's 31 years older than Jake, and Jake's only 27. That means he's lived Jake's entire life twice, plus 3 years. All right. So you have to think about the basic fundamental insight to when you're going into a boxing match. I got guys that I just interviewed that said to me, I took a fight on like 2 days, 3 days notice, or my opponent was 13 pounds overweight and I still took the fight, but I lost. You see, that was this. When you are talking about boxing, you can't make mistakes like that. And you, as a fighter, you don't have the mind capacity of a person who walks around thinking logical. No, it's not a luxury. If you fucking fight, you are a fighter. Your brain is in gladiator mode. And if you're not, you better stop fighting. But if you commit to fighting, your brain is there. Your brain is consistently on warrior mode. So all of the logical things and thought processes that go through a typical person's mind, you don't have that luxury because you're having to focus on staying sharp, developing the mindset to stay composed. So Mike Tyson, as the elevator pitch that I'm about to give you, if he doesn't train the manner in which he's used to training when he was actually a boxer, which is when no one could beat him because he was actually boxing. You see him working on his moves. It wasn't about mid training, it wasn't about heavy bag. Everything you see now is about movement with something in his hands or someone holding something. It's never he's practicing boxing. That's why he looks so stiff in so many different areas because he hadn't broken it down. He hadn't broken down the things that are required in order to become a great boxer. Okay, that's why I tell you guys pick out your favorite three fighters in history. You're never going to name somebody who's recent unless you're talking about Pacquiao, unless you're talking about Money May, unless you're talking about the greats of recent past, James Lights Out Tony. Now you're looking at Canelo Alvarez. He's a prototype. He's been developed. All right, he's changed the actual Mexican style of boxing and manipulated and added his own ingredients. And there's a lot of pigment in his boxing style. I don't give a shit who you pick in history. Those guys aren't manufactured. Those guys went outside, they chopped wood, they ran, they boxed. Every single one of them, when you see them running, they was boxing. Sugar Ray Robinson, ba ba ba. You watch these guys box and run now. When they run now, you don't see that because they don't have the mechanics to put it together. See, I learned from Emmanuel Stewart's camp that when you box, you got to be able to box in all directions. That's where I learned that from. That's why my guys know how to go lateral, they know how to go backwards, they know how to go in circles, and they know how to push you forward. See, when you push a person forward, you're more likely to get hurt when you're going forward if you're a pure boxer than if you're going backwards. Okay. So here's what you didn't notice in Tyson's camp. Go back and watch all of his footage. Just pull up Tyson highlights during this fight camp and count the jabs that he didn't throw. And that was one of the most telling things on the night of the fight. See, you can walk forward, but if you walk forward without a jab, you're not going to have balance, especially when you're squared up in a peekaboo. And he doesn't have the teachers to groom his peekaboo style of fighting now. Therefore, he's on quiz street. He's just trying to remember things that he used to do, but obviously it's not muscle memory anymore because he's not actually getting to do it in a manner in which those guys taught it. Now, if he were to have Teddy Atlas in that corner and they were to say the entire year of 2024 from January to November, you're not doing any mushrooms, you're not doing any weed, you're not doing anything that you do to pleasure your lifestyle. Go back to April and May of this year. Mike Tyson he was in a state of he was in a state of life that you can't be a fighter and live that way. He got literally got out from under the couch, shrooms every day, all day, weed, gummies, whatever. He's promoting all of these different vendors that he's you can't do that and then say I'm going to fight somebody who's literally been fighting and active. So I said this on Friday. So tomorrow I'm going to re-air 16 minutes from everything that I tried to tell you guys before the fight. And my co-host sat on the show and went all the way against me, and even knowing that that shit was fugazi. And what I want you guys to realize is in boxing, you have to understand that there's a base that you have to build, and it's your feet. And when you build your feet base, you have to get into that lower, that next, down in the tibia, the knee, the hips, the hip flexors, and then you have to learn how to sit down because you need to be balanced when you're going to box. And when you're going to move forward, it's so important that you realize that you can't move forward without a jab. And that's why Tyson looked lost at periods of time, because Jake was using a jab and Mike Tyson wasn't using a jab at all. And when he did flutter it, it fluttered Jake. Because remember, it's not about the size of the other guy. Tyson was knocking guys out who were 6'6" and beating them to the jab with his jab. So if he would have done that, it would have been over in the first round. First round, and the reason why is because there's nothing that you can do defense wise when Tyson gets on the inside. Forget it. I don't care if he's 66. If he gets inside, you're a dead man, because he knows how to rip combinations and waves, and he knows how to put so much hurt on you with the first shots. He uses the rip and rake in such a way that there is no way that you can defend it. Once he taps you to that liver or the kidney and you feel it, you're bent. And once you bent, then the uppercut's coming. Good night, sweet prince. But, lo and behold, the guy performed. When you put the clips together, it looks like he was actually ready to fight, but he just didn't use the jab and he didn't train in camp. You got to have trainers that pay attention. And see, when you look at Mike Tyson's training camp, please take time and go look. His trainer was so busy admiring him and being so overwhelmed by how good Mike was and how hard he hit. I don't give a shit about how hard my guys will hit me. Reggie, if you watching, please comment down in the comment boxes. I saw you left a message yesterday. Reggie, would you please tell them boys you was 260 and Reggie could push 400 pounds, 4 plates. Sorry, not 400 pounds, 4 plates off his chest. Boy was sure enough African Mandingo strength. You get what I'm saying? Natural born killer. He used to rake me to the body. I used to wear like this little thin vest. And this was before they started bringing all them big padded vests in. This was at the beginning of the turn of the century. Hard as he could with no gloves on. I don't give a shit about all of that. I'm taking shots from a guy who can throw hammers, and will put you out. Military and boxed in the military. And when you are throwing power shots and you think you can do this game in a way that these fundamentals aren't going to be, you need to have a damn jab. And this guy went the entire camp. All he was doing was getting praise from these trainers, acting as if every time he touched him, oh my God, 10 count. Man, I just knew it. I just know what a trainer is not supposed to act like. And that's it. I don't give a shit how much you can teach. You need to be teaching aerobics, but you're not supposed to be acting like a fan of your fighter. He's hired you. You're an employee, not a fan. Your job is to make sure that you push him past the point that he will go. But when that guy is hitting you and you feeling pain, and I used to take punches and feel pain, I had ribs bruised, and anybody who knows about bruised ribs, that shit lasts 3 months. 3 months. And I had to keep going. I couldn't say, oh, I got bruised ribs. I can't coach you. I'm coaching fighters. I used to stand in the ring over 34 rounds. Why? Because I had to. I was the only guy who can go in there and stay in there with these guys, except Coach Melvin. Coach Melvin was spar and spar, but I would do 34 rounds and then throw a 50-pound medicine ball with 18 different students. Me by myself burn each one out. Now you do that. You can't make that up. That's how much endurance I got. And no matter how much endurance you got, fucker, you got to throw the jab if you're gonna get on the inside. You got to not celebrate a fighter for doing what he's supposed to do. These guys celebrating Mike Tyson when he throwing shots to the body, like they are his cheerleaders and not his coaches. I don't give a fuck about who you are as a fighter. If I'm coaching you, I'm the fucking boss. Period. I don't give a shit how much money you making. You're not buying who I am, because what I am is why you're going to get to where you get to. Not because of you, but because of the fucking Ferrari I'm going to put you in with this damn knowledge, this boxing college. And for that, I will not break it for nobody. That's why I tell every single one of you. And I just was asked by a world champion last week, would you train again? No, fuck no, because I ain't about to go through that. There are many other ways to build and contribute to the sport of boxing. Dick and dealing around with your ass. You get it? So this is what I mean. What I saw is 3 reasons why fighters lose. And every time I put that video up, it does 1 million views. And it's because incompetence in the corner. You can't have cheerleaders. You need coaches who understand how to teach boxing and not be woed by an athlete. The last thing I'm going to do is be woed by an athlete. I've been around the greatest athletes in the world. We had 6 gold medal Olympians in the gym at one time for years. I'm not going to be woed by you. You're going to consistently come in there and say, that dude's taking it to the next level. So you're going to perform higher. And I'm never going to be a fan of you. I'm going to teach you, but I'm not going to be a fan of you. And if you want this knowledge, now you just got to go and sign up for boxing college. But what we did is, I remember Emmanuel Stewart, his whole repertoire was there. And this was after I learned the offense that Coach Kenny Adams taught about creating the angles off of a subtle hop step, right? So I remember when he was a cruiserweight. I can't think of his name, but in the gym, and Coach Adams working with a pop, and he would throw he'd throw the 1 and a 2, and then at the same time he would rotate the shoulder, and then he's off to the side, and boom, 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 and stay punching in rhythm. And I was like, damn, I gotta do that. I gotta learn how to do that. So then I watched how he did it, and it was just keeping your hands going. And then after you touch that last time, you boom, boom, and off of that punch, boom, your body rotates and you're back in punch rhythm. You don't miss a beat. You don't skip a beat. All right. And this is what it's all about. So you got pop, pop, pop. You don't miss a beat. You're shifting and angling your feet. Everything you do is in sync. And I was like, that is crazy. That's crazy. That's masterful, because the body wasn't meant to just do that. The brain has to be incorporated into that movement, right? So no, it wasn't Julius. What's this guy? The guy was a cruiserweight, like I said, clean head, light complexion guy. He looked sort of Puerto Rican, sort of, but he wasn't. He definitely wasn't. But when he would do it, And then he had a fight on ESPN, and I'll never forget it. And he did that move, pop, boom, and he was just fluid. And the guy could never keep him in front of him, so he could never return. And that's when I saw exactly what it was for. It wasn't for offense, it was for defense. When you throwing punches, the next punch is coming. So now he's off to the side, he's off to an angle. This was about in 1990, maybe 1996, 95, 95. And when I saw that from that point on, so we're talking 30 years now. 30 years ago, I've acquired that angle, knowing how to create an angle in a different way off of your offense. So you got to have that stuff. You can't fuck around. I see you guys are dropping some questions. So let me see what's popping. Oh, there go my girl. Hey, Jay, what's up? Jay missed my birthday. You feeling guilty? I love you. You could have taken him to his last and final victory. Something, yeah, as simple as flipping road work to start with. Jay, I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted because the coaching was just horrendous. Yeah, and I was watching it, and I didn't want to down anybody, and I just don't like doing that. Um, I just don't like to do that. And everybody, this is my sister, J. Marie Moore, the beautiful daughter of Archie, the old mongoose Moore. And it's not OLD, it's OLE, the greatest to ever do it. I say it all the time. Let me see what else you're saying, Jay. Absolutely, your corner is everything. I have said this again and again and again. If you want to know who's gonna win the fight, look at their corner. Because the fighter at the end of the day don't have eyes in the back of his head. He has to know what you are seeing, and then you have to learn. There's a method that you have to translate it so it lands inside of his frequency that he can receive it. Because if not, he's just going to hear the chirping going on outside the ring and the ghosts and the monkeys screaming inside of his head. And those monkeys are distractions and fear. And yeah, Jay, it was very, very, very called Skinny Adams is the bomb. Yeah. Wow, I've had some of the best trainers ever except for you. Yeah. I know you never got to train or be darn. I know. I would have damn sure, out of everybody, one of our coaches down here is very close with Mike Tyson. Jay, I don't know if you know Coach Martinez. He was on the feed the other day after the fight, and he was really upset, and because he's over at Palm Beach Boxing, and he was very disappointed. And he's just, everybody wanted to see Mike win. You know what? I said I would never work with a guy ever. But if Mike Tyson is about 13% of my body. Like, I've watched so much Mike Tyson. I love Mike Tyson. The only person in the world that I would say I would go into that camp and I would make sure that they can bring back that damn thing that made him great. And that was the word fucking boxing, not no fucking weight training. You won't see him doing all of these fucking different machines because you are a machine. You have to understand how to embrace this shit like it's never before, like you never have before. Because if you want to get good at boxing, you got to box. You don't get better at playing soccer by swinging a baseball bat. You don't get better at basketball by playing football. So why are you focusing more on weight training and all of this conditioning stuff when all you need to do is hit the fucking trail when you wake up and then maybe sling a few bales of fucking hay? Because the only thing that you need strengthening is your bone density, because that's the only thing that does not suck the oxygen out of your body. And I'll guarantee you, if you would have asked the old mongoose, he would have said, you don't need all that shit, boy. You don't need all that shit. All you need is to hit them trails and make sure that you know how to cut that weight. Because when it's all said and done, boy, it was so many mistakes, and I just had to bite my tongue. And a lot of the times I talk about it with my coaches when I mentor them and we talk online. I do that, but the key is, let me see what else you got to. Coach Kenny is the bomb. Wow, I've had some of the best trainers. Oh yeah, I wish you could have trained me. Yeah, I wish I could have trained you too, B. I wish I could have trained you too. Um, yeah. Now this is you. You guys are hearing the old mongoose bloodline right here. Yeah, I learned how to box off angles from the mongoose and never forgot it. And that's because he's so, see, people like that. And I it's not another man I could say this about in history could have worked his own corner, could have trained his own self, wrapped his own hands, wrote his own shit. Smartest man in boxing ever. Because he literally, that's the legacy that I'm carrying on through Jay, who told me things about the peekaboo. Um, y'all don't know how to box. Y'all don't know how to box. Sit on the phone with her for 2 hours. Get on a call with her for 2 hours. We talk 3 hours every time we talk. Shit. So you want to know boxing, you got to talk to people who actually know boxing. You get what I'm saying? When you the flesh and blood of Archie Moore, ain't nobody can say they know more boxing than you. It's just not possible because you just don't know enough. You don't understand the encyclopedias that was in that man's brain. You have no idea what that dude was capable of. And he was beating these dudes when he was older than Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Like they talk about age. No, Archie Moore was beating dudes up. Shit, he was like 60, man. Like they was running from him because he was so damn good. He understood the science of boxing. You don't knock out 141 men. You don't knock out 141 men. Ain't nobody even got that many wins, let alone knockouts. Ain't nobody will ever do that in no sport. So y'all got to really understand what I know. She's checked me. Just very few people on this entire planet that can check me. And the only reason is because that's that mongoose blood. There are levels to this shit, and you got to know them all. You got to know them all. If you don't, you make sure you go down in them comment boxes and you get that, because we want you guys to understand the read. Just read about boxing. You know, just read. Just that's just our gift. Just read, just learn that it takes more than lifting some weights and having a trainer that's more of your fan than your trainer and teacher. Period. I just stop being a fan of these guys and start teaching them. And if you don't know how to teach, read this book. Period. Point blank. And all of you can do better. But right now, the world of boxing is going to be taken over by YouTubers because you guys, trainers and athletes, are so fucking lazy. I outwork all of y'all. I'm 55 years old, and I'm in better shape than you, and you supposed to be in camp. Y'all lazy. That's the real honest truth. I hate to say it out loud, but y'all motherfuckers are lazy. I talk to all of y'all all the day, all the time. But the bottom line is I can say what I want to say because I done my run in boxing. The only thing I got to do now is be honest with you. You lazy. You scared. You're running from the shit you need to do. And you see the other people who are doing it and you won't do it. So tell me that I'm lying. You know I'm not lying. You just lazy. So stop being lazy. You got to go internal and you got to remember why you're doing it. I'm going to give you a hack. Don't box just to box. Don't box for no money. Realize why you actually boxing. Are you boxing to pull your family out of poverty? Well, poverty don't get pulled out of poverty for being a lazy motherfucker. All right. If you're going to get pulled out of poverty, it's because you really, really want to get out of there. And you're going to do all the things that it's going to take. And a lot of this shit that you try to duck, that shit is going to be there when you get back from ducking. So cluck, cluck, cluck. You can't duck. You got to get in here and get your mind unstuck if you're going to get yourself to the mega bucks, because the only ones that's gonna get that money right now is them boys that's on YouTube. So special shouts out to all of you who are on the tube. But y'all gotta stop being lazy, man. That's what this is the truth. What do you say, baby? Yep, Tyson should have called me and let me bring in my arsenal, starting with Coach Eric Bradley. Absolutely. It's the only person on the planet I would coach. I would fucking go into camp with is Iron Mike Tyson. And when you see him on fight night, he would be Iron Mike Tyson. No pain in his knees, no pain in his back, hands, fucking jab, fucking footwork, fucking peekaboo, closing the gap, smoking dudes in a round. I know it because I'm moving in the ring like Fred Astaire with him. I'm making sure he's doing everything he need to do to hit him. Period. It ain't gonna be none of that escaping and shit like that. That weak ass jab Jake was throwing, he going right through that shit, cutting them like hot butter. And so, boy, it's the one time I regret because all of that build up, all that build up, it would have been beautiful if he would have had the legs to do it. He would have had the legs to do it. Man, wouldn't that have been awesome if Mike Tyson would have went in there and had all his shit together? And that motherfucker would have thrown that shit and he would have just parried it. Bop, bop, bam, boom, boom, out of there. Fuck. The internet would have been shut down for like a month. But you can believe you me. If somebody else slip up and say, can I fight him? You're going to be in trouble because I'm going to get his address. He right here in South Florida. So you can best believe. Don't nobody else better not call him out, because I will find him. Jay will help me. So until next time, you guys continue to be blessed at God's speed. I hope you all remember, stay tuned for tomorrow, because a part of this was a conspiracy. It was some bullshit on the table. So we're going to go over that. So tune in, continue to follow, and continue blessings. And until next time, I'll see you all soon in the winner's circle. My name is Coach Eric A. Bradley, and we teach boxing. So long. Jay, hit me up. I want to talk. Peace. Love you.